All right, my name Rahmin Holden, known as Boo Boo. You know, I'm originally from South Philly, but I migrated to Southwest. Uh, I'm incarcerated, innocent for a crime I didn't commit. I've been down for 20 years now, so still going. You know, maintaining health. It's about it. You know, living it day by day.
Yeah, yeah.
I ain't doing too much.
Yeah. Would you like to put out there your nature of crime that you was convicted for?
Well, yeah, I was convicted of first-degree murder, criminal conspiracy, and other related charges. I was blamed by 3 people, that wasn't there, didn't see me, and I was charged with first-degree murder for a crime I didn't commit.
So since that time that has passed, how have your mindset changed from when you was younger until now?
Well, my mindset done changed now by, I educated myself better. I spoke to people who was an influence. I hung around people who was an influence, a good influence, and helped me see the difference between right and wrong, and my religion base kept me grounded, and so this what it was.
Okay, so talking about these productive and positive influencers that you was around, what type of advice did they give you, and also did these influencers go home, or is they still currently incarcerated with you right now?
Yeah, some of them went home. Some of them still in jail. Some of them I left because I got transferred, and and I'm talking to one of them. So
yeah. Yeah.
So they basically told me to be grounded and be firm in what I stand on, and don't waver, and choose the right people to be around, and keep myself away from the negativity and the evils of the people. And so I took heed to it, and I'm here now. I ain't been in no trouble since I've been incarcerated. For the 20 years I've been down, I ain't been in a hole. I ain't had no write-ups. So, I've been doing my time as a productive individual in these institutions.
Okay.
By taking heed from what the people I've been around and hung around, and things to that nature.
Okay. That's good. All right. Due to your time being in prison, right? I know you've seen the drastic change that has taken place, far as when we was younger, or you're a little older than me. When you was younger, my generation, and then a generation now. And I want to know, do you have any thoughts or any statements about the transition, and do you have any advice for them on their transition, but also the things that they are being receptive to, or the innovation that they are accepting these days, and how it's affecting prison society and also the outside society?
Well, the changes I've done seen is, the attitudes of people, and the way they carry themselves, the mannerism.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have no respect. They don't have no dignity or integrity for themselves or for others. And from growing up and being taught, when I was out there, you supposed to have respect for your elders, and respect for, individuals who is younger than you, or maybe in the same age bracket as you. And a lot of that has changed due to, you know, the lack of you want to say how we call them old heads or people that was, you know, up on game.
Yeah.
Now these dudes coming in jail, they don't have that. All they got is themselves and the people that's in their age bracket that they call their old heads, but they don't know what's really going on. And this what needs to be fixed with them because there's no education. The education of what these individuals is lack. They don't have nobody to guide them or mold them or introduce them to something that's positive. So when they come in these joints, they run around like they head cut off. They don't want to listen to nobody because they feel like, why should I listen to you and you in the same way? But they almost look at me like that, though.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll come talk to me or whatever. But, you know, I still brush them off because most of the time, dudes be on angles in the street.
Yeah.
Everybody got an angle or they strategizing how to either receive something from you or to use you for something. Is like, there's no genuinity, no genuine. Nobody is genuine about what they do or sincere. So the people that you be around, I think I'd be telling them, be around yourself. I mean, you don't need to know yourself. I mean, like that could be your best friend is yourself, because you ain't going. If you do yourself wrong, then something is wrong.
Yeah.
So I try to, you know, at least try to help them if I can.
Yeah.
But, you know, other than that, they be on their own, man. Like,
Yeah.
They be on their own. Plus, they don't have no father figure. You know, all they got is the woman in their life, and the woman is, you know, she got a little weakness in herself because she looking to trying to get something out her situation, so she can't help her sibling, or she can't help her brother, sister, or her baby father because she ain't got no help. So this world of confusion coming at why these young boys in here now is running around the way they is because they the same age as their mother. Nobody got no guidance. Everybody is lost in confusion. So when you got that, who gonna help you?
Yeah.
But the people around you that's on the same thing you want. So when you got a mother that's out there running the streets and you out there running the streets, y'all no longer mother and child. Y'all homie and friend now. Y'all buddy. So she don't see you as no child. She see you as a friend. So, you know, and it's not supposed to be like that.
There's a lot of that going on.
Yeah, so there's no mothers. There's some out there, but where they at? So then you got the fathers, which is the ones that's in here. They can't be no father because they still a child themselves. So it's like, it's bad. Like, where is the help?
Yeah.
So they say, like, who gonna help me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, that's how I be trying to give it up to them to hear about like that, man, because I tell them everybody can't be your friend. And everybody can't be your friend, man.
Yeah.
First you gotta know yourself first and then take on who you want to take on. Because if you don't know who you are, then they ain't gonna know who you are. They just gonna see what you do. And they just gonna follow it.
Yeah,
So,
you're right. My apologies. I said drastic instead of drastic change.
Yeah.
Drastic change, excuse me. But in the question. But yeah, you absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And you know, sometimes we also have to learn the roots of these individual background. As far as, you know, whoever the individual that we are speaking about, their upbringing, as far as their mother, their father, whomever it may be, And not saying like we got to dig into like the life or whether what was going on and things like that, but just knowing the root. And I think so. Dirty, my homie, he was saying something about a lot of us was raised off of love and survival, and I think a lot of people nowadays, and even before, depending on where you came up at or the people you was around and things like that, they was raised off of survival, and that's something that we don't really touch on. Right. And me, not only me and you being in the same facility with each other and things like that, I think me personally, the way I carry myself and try to do things for others, I think I was attacking a lot of our relationships by being genuine and not trying to worry too much of where we came from. Just try to help shape and mold the individual where we was at, that current state that we was at the time. Because, sometimes we can't change the past, but we can help them towards the future.
Yeah.
Right.
See, like the statement that the love, we say love and survival, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know that survival, is built off of love.
Yeah.
Because when you got two individuals that's surviving on the same thing, what do? It builds love.
Yeah.
So that's where the genuine, like we was here.
Yeah.
We ain't know each other.
Yeah.
But what happened? We sat with each other. We studied with each other. We ain't know each other from a can of paint.
Mm-hmm.
Only thing was what? We was on the same thing, religion, and we see the genuineness in each other.
Yeah, we had two things in common.
Right. So this was the survival part. We came together. We was on the same thing. And then what happened? We built a relationship that's tight. There's nothing love in between everything.
You better know it.
You know what I mean? Because now if you break up the two, you got some relationships that just built off the survival part, where it's just a dog eat dog world.
Yeah.
But then you got the individual that's a survivor, but he got fake love.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So his love is not genuine. It's just a statement with no action. But he got the survival because of what you got or what he can receive from you. So, you got some people that just got love, but they lost the survival part.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, what they gonna do? But like how your man said, we was raised off of love and survival, but you got some people that been raised off of one or the other.
Yeah,
It's like where you see, like you be like, yeah, man, he's surviving. Like we got, for instance, there's a young boy in here right now, right?
Yeah.
He's surviving. You know what? This boy picked through the trees all day long. And boys were like, damn, brother, damn, homie, you good? You want something? Be like, no, I'm cool. I'm surviving right now.
Yeah.
And you hear people like, no, I'm trying to show you some love. He be like, man, I don't need your love.
Yeah.
But they'll let him be.
Yeah.
Then, you know what? He'll come around to me, be like, hey, Rahmin, what's up? I'll be like, what's up? He'll be like, yo, you got some suits for me? I'll be like, sure, I got some suits for you. And I give him more than what he asked for. And he'll be like, man, I asked for this. I'll be like, no, just take it.
Yeah.
So you have people like, damn, man, why you do that for him? I said, because he's surviving, man. He ain't got nothing.
Yeah.
And this the way I'm showing my love towards him.
And he might not look at a lot of those other people in prison. That's another thing. Like, people got to be careful because you hear about a lot of the stories about what this person did, what that person did. Yeah. People putting cakes on your bed, wanting something from you, nothing is free, and all that type stuff.
Hold up, bro.
Yeah.
I was in grad school.
Yeah.
I was in the cell with a dude, and the dude was like, yo, you got all this stuff on your bed. I said, what is it? He talking about, man, there's a big bag of food and cosmetics. I said, I don't want that, bro. I don't know where that comes from.
Yeah.
Somebody know you. I said, bro, I don't know nobody in jail. I just came up there, Joe. Come on, no. He said he know you. He said your folks told him to give it to you. I said, bro, I don't know nothing. We giving that joint back. He said, all right, hold up. Look, can we just take the tobacco out and you can give everything to me? He like, cause you know I ain't really got nothing. So, you know what I mean? Just roll, let me get a couple of them kites in that joint. I'm like, bro, I said, we giving that all back. So, I so happened to walk out the cell with the bag, and the dude that he was talking about walking up, and that was my homie that I grew up on the streets. And he was like, yo, man, your brother sent me the message, said you was up here. I said, yeah, man, I was about to bring this bag back and go at main man who brought me this bag. Like, dog, I ain't into that. Like, no, it ain't that type of time. So when you said that statement, that made me say that, like, yo, you be having balls. You dropping cakes on people.
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah, you're right about that too. Yeah.
He get that crazy, crank it up, yo.
No, it's real, but but the crazy thing is though, that's how prison meat used to be. It used to be. It's not like that no more. Like dudes ain't putting like cakes or none of that stuff on your bed and things like that. And then also, I think I was informing y'all about how it used to be. I mean, certain state penitentiaries also do this, but I was telling you how it works in the federal penitentiary where you first come on the units and things like that. And depending on what car you're a part of or group, as they might say, that's what they use. That's the title that they give a group. They call it a car. They look out for you. So they give you like a $100 bag or something like that. It might be sweatsuits, food, cosmetics, and whatever else that might be in sneakers and things like that might be in the bag so you can have an okay start. But the thing is, you just got to make sure your paperwork right, because if your paperwork is not right, then that's a conflict of interest. So they tell you, don't take the bag if your paperwork ain't right. Then it depends on where you at and things like that.
Yeah.
But we also was talking about something before, and it was mentioned that a lot of dudes come on a block, especially us as blacks, and we just criticize each other, right? Before we get to know them or to see if you need help and things like that. And then you have these other ethnicities, they help their people when they enter the block. They look out for them, they embrace them, the whole nine, so they can keep that unity, right? And I think like that right there is a big thing as far as us as black, not just blacks, not just in prison, but also the streets, right? And we try to hold up this street law and rules to where we not paying attention, we not mindful of how it might have corrupted and broken our community.
Yeah.
Right. And you owing up these laws and rules, but these laws and rules are being held up to protect individuals being destructive, individuals killing each other, individuals harming their communities by selling narcotics or whatever the case may be, drugs, but narcotics or whatever the case may be, or some of these dudes, they run around, mind your business. You got mind your business when it's another man's situation, and you got men out here beating on women, domestics, and killing women and raping them and kidnapping children and things like that. So it really got out of hand, and how the respect and rules and regulations was built upon before. When dudes was coming up, it was a little bit more unity because they understand why these rules and laws was put in place due to survival, right? And not survival of each other, but survival of themselves due to them being a minority group in America and in these cities and states and wherever else they may be, far as black people. So, a lot of things did change. It changed for the worse, and it didn't change for the better.
So, I was over the gym the other day, and I was explaining to the older guys that I be talking to, because they take heed to what I be saying, because they say I be saying the correct thing.
Yeah.
I was telling the old head, I said, oh, what you born like in 50, 60? He like, yeah. I said, all right. I said, so during the time of the 50s, the 40s and the 50s, when you was growing up, he talking about, oh, come on, y'all, you taking me back, making me reminisce. I said, no, listen, though, this on real rap. I said, way before that time, when the time, cause you know, they was talking about, you know, about people telling, about people not holding each other accountable, about people doing all these sorts of things, right? So I said, during your time, y'all held each other accountable. During the 40s and 50s, y'all held each other accountable. He said, yeah. I said, do you know where this snitching code and this holding yourself accountable come from? He talking about, because he said, no, it come from the Italians. I said, no, it don't come from the Italians, bro. I said, it started during the time when black people first became into abolish of slavery, right? And they started getting on their own, making their own money, creating their own businesses. I said, and then you had the black people in the neighborhoods, which was, you know, the drug dealers, the pimps, and all these types of boys do these types of things. And they had running, they was doing number running, they was doing brothels, they was doing having whorehouses. And I said they was doing this because they wanted to feed their family. And I said the reason why they came up with this snitching code is for that they don't bring the government into what they had going on because they didn't want nobody to know what was going on. So I said, when anything happens within the neighborhood, the people in the neighborhood will hold them accountable because they didn't want the government to come in and see what was going on underground. So this is where the snitching came about. But they took it to a totally different thing in a different way. I said, because now they don't hold nobody accountable. So if you do something wrong in the neighborhood, everybody keep their mouth shut. Nobody don't say nothing, which is wrong. Because you got innocent people that's being hurt by an individual that's being violent to people. It's not only hurting the person he's hurting, but he also is hurting the people that he hurt. So it's a domino effect. So you gotta be truthful. There's nothing wrong of being truthful. But nowadays, being truthful is not thorough. So if I be a liar and be deceitful and be naive, I'm thorough. I'm the coolest dude you know. But if I correct you and hold you accountable, or I'm a sucker and I'm in the way, that's not cool. Everybody need to be held accountable. So if you say that you a thorough dude and you a good person and you honest, why not be truthful too? If you say be honest about your truthfulness, what's wrong with that? So when they talk about this snitching, these boys got this snitching stuff is messed up. Even though you supposed to mind your business, especially if you ain't been there, if you ain't been around it, but you hear from somebody. Now this is where people coming in being tell carriers and spread rumors because they don't have all the facts about what they know. And this is also the confusion coming at, because everybody want to be a part of something, but don't know what is they being a part of. And that's another thing that make people confused, and stuff goes on in the community because nobody wants to hold each other accountable. And then when you got back in the day, they never harmed children, they never harmed women. They protected the children, they protected the women, they protected the home. They ain't got no men like that because everybody that claim they men is really not. The love for it is like, it's not really there. When you talk about we homies and we this and that. You know what I mean? So the thing is like, this is where all the confusion coming at in the neighborhood, because there's no men. Actually, Men, not no dude, because he got a big beard and he wear thorough clothes and he drive this fancy car. That's not a man. That's just a person doing things with material. A man is the one who take care of the neighborhood, his family that's live in the neighborhood, and he holds people accountable.
Yeah.
That's what a man is.
Yeah.
He's truthful. He ain't got to be lying about nothing. He bringing everything to you, and he's presenting everything to you how it's supposed to be presented. But you also got to blame the women too.
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't hold themselves accountable. You can't just blame them, man. Everybody got parts in it. The only way you can fix each part is everybody got to come together and put this together and, do it that way.
Yeah.
But that's why so much going on out there in the streets right now, because nobody want to hold nobody accountable. Everybody want a part of something or a piece of something, but don't nobody want to bring that part and that piece and put it together and make peace. You know what I'm saying? So that's the issue of why everything's going on right now within our community. Because back then, they hold everybody accountable. They'll tell you, either you turn yourself in or we're going to turn you in.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't doing that.
Mm-hmm.
You turn me in, I'm going to do this to you. Why? What's wrong with being truthful? If you say you're a man, hold yourself accountable. If you shoot somebody and the police say who did it, say you did it. Be a man. Hold yourself accountable. It's all about accountability, man. And don't nobody want to do it because they don't want to be taken away from where they at. But you took yourself away once you committed the act. Hold yourself accountable. You know what I'm saying? Because my cousin asked me this. He said, if you would have did what they say you did, I said, dog, I would have took it. He said, I already know. If I would have did it, I would have took it. I would have said I did it. I'm not letting nobody go down for what I did.
Yeah.
I'm going to be up front. Yeah, I did it. And I got to take the consequences that got the repercussions. I got to be disciplined.
Yeah.
But you don't have too many people that do that, man.
It's limited.
Everybody say they genuine, they thorough. But they'll get mad at you. You be like, man, that was him.
Yeah. Yeah. It's limited.
But
it's limited.
Like if I'm lying, you ask them, I'm lying, they'll be like, they're looking at you like, but I'm being truthful. But that's where they get mad at you being truthful. Like I was telling the dudes on the block, I said, how are we all friends? And I allow all of us to go down when I did the act. None of y'all did nothing, but I did the act, and everybody got to suffer.
Yeah.
But you'll get mad at the other person if he tells on you because he ain't do nothing. Why would you get mad at it? You said you love him. You said that's your friend. You supposed to take what you did and don't let nobody suffer for you.
Yeah, take accountability.
Don't nobody do that. But everybody a man, though. Everybody stand on their own, too.
Allegedly.
But nobody want to hold themselves accountable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that right there, like, I be having talks like that. I be having talks with the old heads about that. Old heads like, damn, that does make sense when I was breaking it down to them. I said, yeah, all that stuff started in the 50s and the 60s, holding each other accountable. And then as it gradually goes on and the years go by, it died out and everybody took on this no snitching and stop snitching and they don't even know where they come from. Like, what's the difference? I asked the person that the other day, I said, what's the difference between snitching, a rat, and a person who tells? I said, what's the difference?
Yeah.
I said, ain't no difference. There is no difference. It's all the same thing, but a different way of explaining it.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's like, man, it's about holding and being accountable, man. And that's what they need in the city. Accountability.
And role models, too. Productive role models.
And they need... Huh?
Productive role models. I think we just had a situation today, right? And it was a couple younger guys. They was trying to get like jobs and things like that. And I was explaining to them like, man, you have to be mindful of what's going on out here in the world. Even like your local politicians, your neighbors now and days and things like that. You got to be mindful. And I said, and I can admit first and foremost for myself, because I got older guys that's from my neighborhood and they in the unions and things like that. Not once did these dudes come to me and say, listen, Wood, whatever the case may be, we can give you a job making XYZ amount of money. We can teach you this, we can teach you that. None of them came up front and did any of that. Even today now, unknowingly, if I'm struggling or I'm not struggling, but if they see me, they don't say, yo, listen, I can put you in a better situation as far as a job, I can get you in a union, XYZ. They look, face frowned up. Sometimes most of them smile. They don't really frown their face up because they might think I might be on some nonsense. But unknowingly, I'm not even on that type of time no more. You see what I mean? So, and these are the guys that I looked up to at one point in time. I might not give them as much credit because of, you know, who they was and who I was or the dudes that I was running around with. But at the end of the day, I did give them some type of credit, right? Because they walked this life before I did. But the thing is, they don't reach back out. You know, so they got something going on out here where local 332, they're doing demolition work because, you know, the mayor has signed off on a $2 billion contract as far as housing, and they helping fix up housing and things like that. So you got some dudes from around my neighborhood that's a part of these sites, right? And from what I know and from what I've been asking, they haven't came and grabbed any younger individuals and said, yo, this is what's going on right now. I can get you in XYZ, right? So that hasn't happened. And I was telling him, so I was telling my homie today, like while we was running around and we were trying to figure out, because we were trying to see if they can buy a union card and things like that. But he was basically informed us that you have to be a part of the union first or get hired, and then you pay off your you get your union card by paying off your union dues, right? So somebody else was telling us something else, so we was misinformed at first. So I was like, all right, that's cool. So they didn't actually get into the union, whatever the case may be. And so I was informing them about a staffing agency, and I'm like, you know, they got a shift from like 11 to 7, which is staffing agencies are some issues too. I don't really agree with them wholeheartedly, but at this time, people need jobs to take care of their family and things like that. But they had one shift from 11 to 7, they paying $25 an hour, right? And one of the job coaches was informing us that you have to have your ID, whether your state ID or your driver's ID, which I have all that, whatever the case may be. But a lot of these younger individuals don't have it. So I got a friend that was going to pay for these individuals to get their union card. So then I had to reach back out to him and say, yo, you might pay for them to help. Well, we can pitch in and we're going to help them get their state ID and their driver's license. Because this is it's a help, but this is also a setback if these individuals don't have it, right? So now we're trying to figure out ways how to reach out to different people, get information, and put people in a better situation, right? Because the thing is like I was explaining before, the government will give millions of dollars to a police district to clean up cities, what they have done in Philadelphia, right? But what was the alternative? So you created jobs in the streets for people to move around, in which we know some of these people that was working in the streets was killed because they was out of their element, right? Or their environment due to some effect of the crime that they have committed. So you have a lot of people that are hindered from working, from getting these certain jobs that's in the city because they have a face card, right? So they have a face because they done participated in some illicit acts. So they can't really move around the way they want to. They can't really work outside and things like that. And I'm like, this is the only solution that you have. And even getting in there is like tight. It's real tight. But yet you give millions of dollars to this department, this police department, to help flood the pipeline to prison again, where we know I was in prison, and also you're currently still in prison, which we know that prison really doesn't help us. unless we want change for ourselves. And then when you come into prison, they are openly, voluntarily giving you things, Suboxones. You could get signed up for Suboxones and go there and get Suboxone off Suboxone line. Huh?
They're giving you PlayStation 5.
Yeah, giving you PlayStation 5 and things like that. So you got to think about this.
So
Yeah, PlayStation 5, yeah.
They do, right? Like they just were talking about this over the gym today. You know the one we call Uncle Daddy.
Yeah, Uncle Daddy, yeah. You gotta get it together. Yeah, I love that boy. I love it. It's a crazy situation, man. But yeah.
He talking about, he said, yeah, man, they done put microwaves. He said they done put PlayStation 5 on the block with I think a 35-inch stream TV. I said, so what's that telling you? He talking about, they ain't telling me nothing. He said, I can get on the phone though. I said, you still ignorant to the cause, man. I said, what they doing is they want you to stay in jail. So therefore they add more phones on the block because they say, oh, it's causing altercations. There's no altercations going on. But so now when you add a microwave and you add a PlayStation 5 and you add a 35-inch screen TV that nobody can on the street afford, but they can afford it in here, and they giving you a get high. So you got people in here that never got high a day in their life, right? And they signing on to take a Suboxone because they say they suffering from depression, paranoia, they schizophrenic. I said, but you never had all these issues before this Suboxone or these video games came about. They'll say, oh, you don't know you don't know my history. I said, you're right, I don't know your history. I'm only going off what I'm seeing right now. I said, because at the time when they didn't have Suboxone, you was running around here dribbling the basketball like you was Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You was ready to get it.
You wanted to be the next LeBron James and all that.
But now they hindering you. They don't have no programs, right? So they took all the programs away. They'll tell you that other jails got programs, but they won't let you go. So I'm going to use myself as I'm going to say I signed up to do culinary arts, right?
Yeah.
Now, mind you, I got a life sentence. I showed them policy, and you know I like to play with the policy.
Yeah.
With the work.
That black and white.
I come with it. So I'm showing the people, I'm like, this is what it says on the policy that lifers can have outside clearance to work outside. They tell me, well, you gotta be a certain monthly free. I said, no. They say, do you meet the criteria? I said, listen, I ain't never been in a hole. I ain't never had no escapes. I ain't never had no write-ups. And I don't do nothing else. So they like, well, we're going to check into it. They check into it, talking about I can't do it. But I meet all the criteria. Every last criteria I meet, they won't let me do it. So this is what they'll do. They'll hinder people from trying to better themselves and educate themselves. Like they'll have all the teachers in the school building. They don't do no work. They cancel all the classes, so you can't get no education. Now you got dudes coming back disappointed because they can't get no education. So what they do, once you pissed off and you mad because you can't get no education, and somebody say something to you, now you want to take it out on them. So this is where the issue comes in at.
And they know that.
And this is how they got it. This is how they got it.
It's a setup.
But don't nobody. I think I'm the only one see this though.
Yeah.
Where I'm at.
That's
why I stay out the way.
That's because you sane.
I know what's going on.
That's because you sane inside of prison. Some people say you got to go insane to stay sane. Why are you in prison?
My mind be somewhere else. Plus, I be all in my religious books, and I like to read a lot. So I just stay, and I like to understand. I like to see stuff. I'm aware of my surroundings, but nobody. They don't want to help nobody, man. They just want you to sit in here, microwave, 35-inch. PlayStation 5, and you can run in the gym all day. That's it. That's what they doing to us in here.
Yeah.
And all over the prison institution. Like, you got other institutions, they got legislators and lawmakers in there. They don't got none coming in this jail whatsoever. No speakers, no motivator speakers, no nothing. They don't want you to have nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this how they got it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a project,
and
man.
the only way we can change it is through us, but who gonna talk to a person that's intoxicated?
Yeah.
He's not sane.
Yeah.
That's why they doing it. So you don't have to complain. You high. I'm feeling good, and I'm sitting on a white cloud listening to my tablet with my cup of coffee in my hand, and I'm on. Just let me be. And you only got 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Or you leaving next month.
Yeah.
Or you want to go around chasing the homos.